Yesterday we talked about Tycho Brahe, a man who lived in some very interesting and changing times, and it always reminds me of a little phrase almost in First Chronicles. They're getting ready to make David the king, and a number of soldiers go from each of the tribes to go visit and get ready to make David the king. And it says in First Chronicles 12:32 that some guys came from Issachar, some soldiers, and it says they were men who understood the times and knew what Israel should do. And it's such a great little phrase. They understood the times and knew what Israel should do. And I don't know if you've noticed, we live in changing times. The times are, everything's just flipping around all over. The way we think, our communication strategy, everything in our world seems to be changing. And in changing times, it's crucial as followers of Jesus that we do three things. That number one, we understand God's word. We have to know the word that God teaches and the principles that are in his word. We also have to understand our times, just like those guys did. We have to know what's going on around us. We have to know how people are changing. We know how politics is changing, how everything around us is changing. And then the third thing is we have to understand God's word, understand our times, and we have to understand how to translate those principles from God's word and interpret them in our time. Because the way they got interpreted in Tycho Brahe's time was different than it was 100 years later, and it's going to be different 50 years from now than it is right now. And the only way that we can know what we should be doing and what the church should be doing in these changing times is not only do we have to understand the Bible, we have to understand the times, just like those guys in Chronicles. And that's today's Jumpstart.